Jay Ellis, have you always known that you'd be returning for a second season on Insecure?
Um, I mean, you never know anything really, but yeah, I mean, it was kind of told to us earlier in the season, before we started, that that Lawrence would be back, and we would kind of see, what happened with his life, what happened post he and Issa's breakup. So yeah.
And do you see the show as the Issa and Molly show, or do you see like Lawrence in it for the long haul, where we might continue to follow him even beyond like any romantic connections to Issa?
Yeah, I definitely think that this is definitely, about two black women in Los Angeles. So this is definitely about Issa and Molly for sure, and their friendship, and then the people who come in and out of their lives. But I do think, and what we do get to see in season two is we do get to see a lot more of Lawrence's life. We get to see that world, his world, kind of open up, and I think that it's there, Issa and our writer's intention, that no matter what happens between Issa and Lawrence, that Lawrence is always there in some way.
Yeah, I've actually pulled you out of shooting. I believe you're on your lunch break right now. What can you tell us about, just anything about what you're filming today?
Today is a scene where literally every character, we all cross paths today. It's a big day. It's a very very big day. It's a long day. We're shooting in Long Beach today, um, which is a little bit, you know, not the norm for us. So it's again just kind of opening that world up and opening the show up quite a bit. But it's fun. Melina's directing this episode, so she's bringing her like genius to it as always. Um, yeah, I can't. If I give away any more, like HBO will try to kill me.
Of course. Yeah, it's unusual that we're talking to you. You're shooting the next season, but the interview is supposed to be about the first season. But HBO just wanted you guys to come back so fast. It seems.
Yeah, we the response to the show was really great, and HBO was really excited. Thank God, and they are very supportive, and wanted to bring the show back as soon as they could. So the opportunity was kind of posed to the writers to bring it back this summer, and Issa and Prentice sat down and talked about it, and looked at the calendar and figured out what they could do to make it happen. And here we are, June, what is it, the 13th? No, it's probably later than that. It's got to be like June 19th, 20th, something like that. And we premiere on July 23rd. So we're really moving.
Yeah, it's not like Game of Thrones, where they shoot the entire thing at once and then they edit the whole thing and like comes out
Right,
months later. Yeah.
right.
What is your relationship with HBO, like as a supporting actor on one of their shows?
It's great, man. I mean, HBO is very, very supportive. You know, I, it, for me personally, I don't think you ever feel that you're a supporting actor versus the lead of the show. Like, they love their talent, they respect their talent. Um, and I think for us on this show, we all feel that we are getting the same love and energy and respect and treatment from HBO, which is really cool because it doesn't happen that often. So it's rare. It's really, it makes it a very like pleasant, very amazing like work experience.
And broadly, what can viewers expect for Lawrence this season?
Um, it's picking up the pieces. I mean, kind of, what do you do post this traumatic breakup when you think that the woman you're going to spend the rest of your life with, when a situation like that happens with a woman you think you're going to spend the rest of your life with, do you go back? Do you distance yourself? Do you move on? You focus on something completely different? Maybe you throw yourself in work or whatever it is, friendship, whatever it is. And so I think we kind of see Lawrence kind of pick up all those pieces. I think he's mentally still a little clouded and not really sure about what's going on. And so we kind of get to see him stumble through that and figure that out and find himself. I think Lawrence is also still finding himself quite a bit because this is a new Lawrence. This is a Lawrence that is, at least how we ended the season. This is a Lawrence that is not in a relationship. So he's that guy that we saw in that last episode is a new guy, and he has to figure out if that's the guy he wants to be or does he want to get back in this relationship.
Yeah, I'd say more than any other character on the show. You know, the Lawrence that we meet in episode one is not the one that we meet in episode two, and it's not the one that we know at the end of the season. So, what do you say when people ask you, like, what is your role on this show when you're trying to describe Lawrence to somebody who hasn't seen it?
Um, I mean, I start out by saying I'm a deadbeat. I'm the loser that everyone wants to get rid of. But I start out kind of just by saying I'm a lost boyfriend. I think he's a lost partner. He's somebody who, when you meet him, he's definitely at his low, and he's not sure of himself and doesn't have a lot of confidence. And he's insecure, and we see him kind of get some of those things back and grow to find himself a little bit and fall back in love with Issa, and you see that relationship kind of at its best, and then you see it all kind of fall apart at the same time. So I get to play the background to two really beautiful, smart, and sexy and talented women. Um, so I guess to me it's probably the best job in TV, but I don't know. I guess that's probably what I would call it.
I read an interview with you where you said, like, they were asking what's the most profound thing that you've heard, and then you talked about how the producers of the game told you why they chose you for the role. What has Issa and anybody else with Insecure told you about why they wanted you for this role?
It's interesting. Prentice, about 6 weeks into filming last year, about 5 or 6 weeks into filming last year, Prentice actually sent me a screenshot of his notes that he had for when I went in my original audition. Um, and it literally just said, he's the guy, period. And I just thought that was absolutely, I mean, it literally was just one note, and it was, he's the guy. And I just, because you never know. I mean, you get a job and you like to think like, oh, I made every single choice that was perfect, and they chose me for this reason. But at the same time, you're always in your head as a performer, I think, and you're not 100% positive, and you're not sure, and you kind of question yourself sometimes. You're a little, again, insecure. And to see that was
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I think I kind of lost you for a bit there. So with this role, you're all over Twitter, and I would say that Insecure fans are as well. So what would you say is the strangest thing that you've encountered on that side of your job?
seeing memes of yourself having sex is pretty weird. That is that is not something I think I would have ever expected to see. It's pretty odd for sure. And then also seeing memes of the Lawrence Hive is a pretty amazing thing too. It's like group of like men and women who they kind of chose Lawrence's side in the breakup with Issa, and they formed the Lawrence Hive. So like I've seen T-shirts, I've seen there's a billion memes out there from like someone showed me one that's like my face with like President Obama's face and Martin Luther King's face and Malcolm X, and it's like the great men of our generation. uh, the lemonade one is amazing too. It's one of my favorite ones. It's like me in a hoodie, and it's like the Beyonce lemonade poster, and someone like put my face in it, and it's pretty amazing. It's Twitter is creative. It's very creative. Like our viewers, our fans, our support system is just they're absolutely amazing. So there's been some great stuff out there.
And what was your favorite part of filming the first season? Was there a particular scene that stood out to you?
Um, it, in a weird way, anything with Chad is always fun for me. And Chad, who's played by Neil Brown Jr., he plays Lawrence's best friend. Like all of those scenes are always fun. Um, just because Chad just brings this levity to everything that he does, and his timing is just so great. And we are friends and actually have that. There's just so much of our friendship that's already kind of like based there and layered there for us to then just play off of. So I love shooting those scenes with him. And oddly enough, it was my least favorite scene to shoot, but now looking back at it, I really love the scene itself. Um, and that was that breakup scene. the Lawrence and Issa breakup scene. That was definitely my least favorite to shoot, but looking back at it, it's definitely one of my favorite of the show of the first season. Yeah.
Did you used to work as an extra? Do I have that right?
I've done a lot of extra work. Yeah.
Okay. And how was that experience?
It's interesting. Randomly enough, we actually have about 500 extras here today on set, and I was just telling someone um, that like I know what it's like to be one of 500 people hanging around and just waiting, and then like jumping in when you can and trying to like get your face in the camera and hoping somebody's going to throw you a line at some point. Hope somebody makes you interact with one of the leads of the show. Um, it was fun, man. Really looking back at it now, it was a great learning experience. I got to learn so much um, at a distance. I didn't have to go up there myself as an actor and screw up when I could watch someone, or I could watch professionals do it and just learn a little bit more about how a set operates, how a director and actors work together, how a director and a DP works together, and what your marks are, and what rolling means and what sound rolling means, and just all those little things that now they're just second nature, but at the time I had no idea what they were. So I felt like I was non-union for most of it, so I was probably getting paid like $60 or something like that. But I got like a $60 lesson that I was getting paid for, basically, to be an extra.
Also looking through your...
You also meet a lot of strange extras too. That extra show that we did was pretty on point, because you meet some wild people. It gets pretty eclectic.
Well, yeah, they can be anybody. It just they have to have some free time, like I do it. Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah. So also looking through your biography, I saw that you were student body president at Concordia University. So I wanted to ask, what was your proudest accomplishment as that role?
We established there were two things, to be honest with you, that were equal for me. One was so the student body government at the time actually never had a budget. It had a budget of about literally $3,000 a year for about 10,000 students. And we put it in front of the students, and they had the opportunity to vote, and we asked them for $7 each. And we basically had a $70,000 budget within about 6 months of me being president. And that still carries today. And now that the enrollment has grown, I'm sure the dollar amount has grown. And now that budget has grown. So the student government was actually able to provide things to the students that it wasn't before. One of the things we did, which is the second thing that I'm probably most proud of, is we bought an ATM. And there was no way to get cash on campus. So we actually bought an ATM and put the ATM on campus, and those fees that we accumulated, those fees that we earned, went right back into the student government budget. And we created a couple other sources of income for the student body as well. So that was definitely two of my proudest moments doing that.
All right, so we've talked about Insecure Season 2, or at least maybe we didn't talk about it, but what else do you have that's coming up that we can expect from you?
Man, this has definitely been the focus, but I did a movie with a director named Sam Boyd called In a Relationship that Emma Roberts is the star of. I also had the opportunity to do a movie with Omari Hardwick and Megan Good called Election Night. That's a one-take film, which was absolutely amazing. I had never done that before, and it's literally one long take that lasts over an hour and a half. So that was pretty amazing. I'm working on a bunch of different things. I'm writing, so I'm geared to take a pilot out to sell. A couple movies that I'm trying to get done as well. And then I'm also producing some web stuff. So I'm staying busy, trying to stay busy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing the second season and all of those things. So thanks very much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.